All right, Shalom. This is Brother Sagalah coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, and the Father of all spirits, who people ignorantly call God, whose name is Yahweh. So this is through the spirit of Yahweh, another day to come out and prophesy, another day to speak the truth of the Holy Scriptures. So before I get started with my lesson, I want to say Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahushai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahushai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahushai, Brakatah Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rakak Badash. Double honors be to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who have labored faithfully in this truth, and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. The brothers is out here pushing this truth with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Habayah from Adabadah, the house of David. The brothers is labored on the four corners of the earth, labor to make their call of election sure. The brothers is diligently doing this work in truth and in sincerity. So to you I say Shalom, and to the Akim and Akwafim, the brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to you I say Shalom as well. So this is Brother Sagalah coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. And this lesson, first and foremost, is to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You comprise the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who is the God of the heavens and the earth. And He is your power. He is your God. So there's this word, this message is to the children of Israel, starting with the tribe of Judah, you so-called Negroes or blacks, the tribe of Benjamin, West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Simeon, the so-called Dominicans, Zebulon, the Guatemalans, the Panamanians, Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, the so-called Cubans, Gad, the North American Indians, Reuben, the Seminole Indians, Naphtali, the Argentinians, the Chileans, Asher, the Colombians, to Uruguayans, and last but not least, you Mexicans, you are the tribe of Issachar. So this message is to the 12 tribes of Israel, for those that have ears to hear and have eyes to see through the Holy Spirit, through the Rakak Wadash. So it's another day to prophesy, and through the Spirit, the Bible tells us, woe unto me if I preach not the gospel, for it is a necessity to preach the gospel. So I'm out to prophesy another day, which is a blessing from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So I'm going to start off by going to the book of Jeremiah 49. This is Jeremiah 49, starting at verse 5, and it reads, "And now saith the Lord Yahweh, that formed me from the womb to be His servant." So, truthfully, the Most High said, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So the Most High, chose the elect members from the womb to do this work. Let me get a quick precept. Just going into that before I get into the lesson. I'm going to go to, I believe it's the book of John. So it's the book of John. John, the 15th chapter, I believe. This is the book of John 15 and verse 16. And it reads, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of my Father in my name, He may give it to you." So, going back to Isaiah 49 and verse 5, it says, "And now saith the Lord Yahweh, that formed me from the womb to be His servant." So the Most High chose, the elect members, the remnant, the believers, the brothers on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. Continuing on, Isaiah 49 and 4 and 5. And now saith the Lord Yahweh, that formed me from the womb to be His servant, to bring again to Him, though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, and my power shall be my strength. So the strength of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, is your power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who is the God of the heavens and the earth, which is in His Hebrew name, His true name, His name in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh and Yahushai, the names of your power. He said, though Israel be not gathered, yet will I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my power shall be my strength. So the strength, of the believers of the nation of Israel is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 6 in the point, "And He said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob." So the reason for preaching this gospel and the reason why it's a necessity is because it's a light thing to do this work, to come out and preach the gospel of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that work is preaching the gospel, being instant in season and out of season, whether it's hot or it's cold, feeding the flock. The Lord told Peter, if you love me 3 times, feed my sheep. Being a brother, to the brethren, the believers, showing love and charity. The Bible says that charity covers a multitude of sin, and doing all the things, keeping all the commandments as you learn, and get the understanding, keeping the commandments, loving the Most High with all your mind, body, and soul, which is the first commandment. So it's a necessity to do these things, and it's a light thing to do these things. So I read it again, Isaiah 49:6, and it reads, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant. So there's a light thing for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to come back to serving your power. It's a light thing. It's something that you're supposed to do. Continuing on, it's a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob. So the men you see on the 4 corners of earth are positioned through the Spirit to raise up the tribes of Jacob. That's their job. That's our job, is to come out and be watchmen unto the house of Israel and warn them of the pending danger that's coming, which ultimately is those nuclear missiles, but the time of Jacob's trouble, which is fastly approaching. To raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. So the preserved of Israel is being restored right before your very eyes, And I got a quick precept just going into that. Restoring the preserved of Israel. That's what you see going on. The brothers is waking up. This is the book of Amos 8, Amos 9, Amos chapter 9, and verse 11, and it reads, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the 12 tribes of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the tabernacles or the ruins of David, which is the house of Israel, the 144,000, the faithful few, is being raised up. I read it again. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David. So the tabernacle of David is being raised up now, which is the 144,000. It says, that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and the tribes are coming back together. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the remnant, the elect, are coming back to your power. And it says, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the house of David is being rebuilt through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because the remnant is the actual body of Hamashiach, the body of the Messiah, Yahushua, who people ignorantly call Jesus the Christ, So, going back to Isaiah 49:6, it reads, it says, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. And once again, that preserved of Israel is those breaches being closed up, which is the tabernacle of David. It says, I will also give unto thee for a light unto the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Those Gentiles are speaking about the Israelite foreigners, which are you so-called confusion of face, or Israelite foreigners. You Israelites are scattered amongst the heathen, but you're Israelites based on your bloodline, pertaining to Numbers, the 1st chapter, 18th verse. So that's the purpose of the brothers is out here on the 4 corners of the earth. We're not just out here, just to be out here for shits and giggles. We're not just out here because we don't have nothing better to do. We're not just out here because we're doing this because we have some ulterior motive. Those that believe truly in Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing this work because it's a necessity and it's a light thing to do this work, and it's required for salvation. So if you're a man and you're able-bodied, you should be coming in to get the knowledge of this truth, getting the understanding, and teaching to whatever capacity Yahweh Shem Yahushua, has given unto you, unto whatever measure the Most High has given unto you. So that's the reason for the awakening of the tribes, is that the Spirit of the Most High is gathering the elect. Let's get that real quick. So this is the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah 34, showing that the tribes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, You are the 12 tribes of Israel. The tribes are being awakened through the Spirit of the Most High. So this is Isaiah 34 and 16. Isaiah 34 and 16, and it reads, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. And the book of the Lord is the Bible, the Holy Bible, you know, and the Apocrypha. These are the holy scriptures of the Most High, you know. So the Holy Bible is the book of the Lord. You know, the Apocrypha, those 14 books was taken out of the Holy Scriptures. We just do a little research and find out that all of this is a part of the divine, holy, inspirational word of the Most High, you know, straight from the mouth of the Most High to his prophets. So Isaiah 34 and 16, it reads, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, and that's what I'm doing now. No one of these shall fail, because none of the prophecies are going to fail. So our people are in the midst of folly here in Funland, which is Babylon, which is America, which this lesson is going to get into. Woe unto Babylon. So destruction unto Babylon. This land that we've been captive in for 400 plus years, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, through his son Yahushua, is coming to gather the elect, the remnant. When you read Matthew 24 and 31, the Lord is coming to gather the remnant, you know, the believers, the faithful few. So Isaiah 34 and 16 says, no one of these shall fail, speaking of the prophecies. So that's why he's supposed to be diligently seeking the Most High based off of his word, coming back to his word. You know, because the Most High said that his word is faithful and true. No one of these shall fail. The prophecies won't fail. None shall want or make. You can't mix the Holy Scriptures with any other book. There's no book on the planet that gives you prophecy. It gives you understanding and wisdom, knowledge and understanding, you know, as the Bible does. And the Bible is separated because it's a book of prophecy, which makes it a book of truth. Prophecy, pro means before, phasis means to speak. It tells you what's going to happen before it happens. So we speak in the words that were already ordained, you know, aforetime, before time. Isaiah 34:16. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. The spirit of the Most High is gathering the elect, the faithful few, the believers, those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. They're being gathered by the spirit of a Mashiach. They're being gathered by the spirit of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So the Most High only wants the elect, because the elect have been predestined and preordained, according to the scriptures, since the beginning of the earth. The elect have been predestined and preordained to come back to this truth. So if you're hearing this truth and the job in your spirit, you know, then if you come into this truth and sincerity, then you may have salvation in these dark times that's coming. Because the times we're coming into is the time of Jacob's trouble, a time that's like no other time. Let me get that real quick before I jump into the bulk of the lesson. So this is the book of Daniel. Speaking of the times we're coming into, that's why it's a necessity, you know, to come out and do this work. You know, there's a need. Yahushua said the labors are few, but the work is plenteous. So there's plenty of work that needs to be done. Thus saith the Lord. Plenty of work that needs to be done. So we'll go to the book of Daniel 12 and 1. So it's the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1, and it reads, and at that time shall Michael stand up, which is the archangel Michael, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people, speaking of the elect of the nation of Israel, thy people shall be delivered, every one that should be found written in the book. So those that are written in the book of life is speaking of the elect. The elect are the ones that's written in the book of life, that's already been preordained and predestined, you know, to this truth. The scriptures tell us, Yahushua told us that my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. So those that have eyes to see and ears to hear through the Spirit, then that's one symbolic sign and one telltale sign showing who the elect are nowadays, showing that the elect of the nation of Israel are being gathered through the Spirit. You know, so the time that we're coming into is a time of trouble, a time of danger, you know, a time like no other. It's called the time of Jacob's trouble. But the scriptures say, you know, pertaining to Jeremiah 30:7, but he, speaking of the elect, shall be saved out of it. So, as we get into the lesson, I'm going to start in the book of Zephaniah. Start in the book of Zephaniah, going into the fall of Babylon. What we're witnessing is the fall of Babylon. America is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures because it's the land of confusion. It's the land of sodomites, the land of transgenders, the land of homosexuals, the land of wickedness and perverseness. You know, it's a land where you have men nowadays, you know, cutting off their rod and going and getting their sex change and their internal organs to try to have children. You know, it's a land where this land has legalized pedophilia, you know, in many places. It's this land, which makes it Babylon the Great, which is the land of confusion. Babal in the Hebrew means confusion. What makes this place Babylon the Great, you know, is all the signs that the scriptures say you would see, showing that this is a very foul and vile and perverse land, you know, that the scriptures spoke of. You know, going back into the book, you know, of Revelation, going all the way back to Daniel and all the other prophets, Isaiah, Nahum. So we're going to start here in a second in the book of Zephaniah. But all these books prophesy of America falling, the fall of Babylon the Great. So we go to the book of Zephaniah. I'm going to start the book of Zephaniah 3:1. Speaking of the fall of Babylon. So to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who can hear, you know, and can see, you know, this truth, you know, this is the time for you to come and seek ye the Lord while he may be found, while he is yet near, as it says in the book of Isaiah. So Babylon the Great, this land, fun land, the land of folly and mischief, is falling. You know, Babylon is falling, whether you know that or believe that or not. Thus saith the prophecies. So here we go. It's the book of Zephaniah 3:1, and it reads, "Woe to her that is filthy and polluted." And who is her that's filthy and polluted? Speaking of Babylon, when you go to Revelation, the 18th chapter. Read it again. "Woe to her that is filthy and polluted," which is Babylon, "to the oppressed city." And Babylon's the oppressed city because Babylon, you know, has oppressed the 12 tribes of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's been nothing but oppression. You Latinos and Native Americans, you know, were oppressed by the conquistadors, starting first with Cristobal Colon, formerly known as Christopher Columbus, and all the rest of the conquerors, going into the Spanish, the French, the Dutch, the English, the Portuguese, etc. All the Europeans, the Edomites, came and conquered you. So when it says, "Woe unto the oppressed city," speaking of Babylon, you know, which is America. And you Negroes was brought over here pertaining to Deuteronomy 28:68 on slave ships to serve out slavery. And that's biblical. So-called black history, Hispanic and Native American history is biblical history. Because you are the Israelites. You are the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But only the remnant, only the elect are going to hear and adhere to this word and come back to this truth. So it says, woe to her that is filthy and polluted, and to the oppressed city. So this place is filthy and polluted because it tells us, see if I can get that real quick through the Spirit. It tells us in the book of Micah. It tells us in the book of Micah that this place is polluted. So this is Micah 2:10, and it reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction." And what is that? Speaking of Babylon. Speaking of the ways of Babylon. It also says in Zechariah 2:6, "Ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north," which is North America. Babylon the Great, America. So let me go back to the book of Zephaniah 3:1 and continue on. So America is known as Babylon the Great in the Holy Scriptures. And this place is prophesied to be destroyed, and the elect, the remnant, are going to be delivered before that destruction. So let's go back to the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah 3. So lock here. And 3:1, I believe it is.
All right. Love you, Bobo.
This is the book of Zephaniah 3:1. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Bear with me. Zephaniah 3:1, and it reads, "Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressed city, which is Babylon, which is America. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord Yahweh. She drew not near to her power." So this place speaks of how it's a righteous land and how it obeys the law of the land. But the scriptures tell us that she drew not near, and she didn't hearken unto the Most High. You know? So this is why the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to destroy Babylon the Great, America. Her princes within are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones to the marrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary, which is the people of the Most High. Know ye not that your bodies are the temple of the living power? So you Israelites are, the sanctuary of the Most High. They have done violence to the law. Once again, they've broken every covenant. They don't keep none of the laws, but they preach saying that they are a God-fearing nation. That the Bible is the law of the land, when they don't keep not one law, statute, or commandment. Zephaniah 3:5. "The just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof, and he will not do iniquity." It says, "Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." The unjust is speaking of Babylon. The unjust is Babylon the Great, and they know of no shame, the scriptures say. So I'm gonna go to my next precept. Let's go back a chapter. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah 2. So this place, Babylon the Great, America, is going to be destroyed. Thus saith the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So don't say you've never heard this, because you've been warned. And you've been marked either for destruction or either for salvation when you hear this word. So this is the book of Zephaniah 2:1, and it reads, "Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desire." And what nation is that? Speaking of the nation of Israel. So we're being gathered together by the Spirit of the Most High, which is his word, and the elect are coming together and coming back to serving in power. It says, "Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord Yahweh come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you." And that day of the Lord's anger, speaking about the time of Jacob's trouble, which is fastly approaching. So the Lord is calling back those that have ears to hear, the remnant, to get in his word and to become a part of this spiritual ark of salvation. Like in the old times, Noah had a literal ark. It's going to be a spiritual ark that the elect are going to come into to stave off, destruction and to keep from the time of Jacob's trouble. That time that I read in Daniel, that's like no other. That time that's approaching the earth, as we speak. Verse 3, "Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth." So the Lord is only calling the meek, the lowly, the humble, not the proud, not those that feel like they don't need the Most High, or that the Most High is too far to hear their cry, or those that feel as if the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua arm is not long enough that he can stretch his hand out and that he could heal and that he could save. Not those that feel like that they're self-made, not those that feel like that they've got all the answers. Because soon, when this economy crash, there won't be no answers but the truth. The truth will be the only answer. The only answer will be this word. As it says, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So the Lord's calling those that are humble and that are meek. I'll read it again. It says, "Seek ye the Lord, Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth." So the Lord is calling the meek. The scriptures say, "Bring forth fruits meek for repentance." So the Lord wants the meek, the lowly, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. So the destruction of Babylon is going to be the day of the Lord's anger, his fierce anger. So the beginning of that's the time of Jacob's trouble. So I'm going to go down to verse 15, and it reads, This is the rejoicing city, speaking of Babylon, the great America, that dwelt carelessly, because people live as if nothing's going on, as if we're not in a time, where this so-called pandemic is causing, great problems. People, 40 million people plus have lost their jobs. Another 20 to 30 million people is falling in line with an eviction crisis. And all these benefits are being cut off. All these government programs are slowly being shut down. So it says this is a rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly. So the people are dwelling carelessly, meaning they're not coming back to the Most High. They don't believe that the Most High is going to send his son back, Yahweh Shai, to save the elect. They believe that Babylon's going to go on forever, that the land of confusion is never going to end. This is a rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that saith in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. Because that's what Babylon says. Let's get that real quick. Showing you that this is Babylon the Great, which is America. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah 47 and 1, and it reads, and I'll read it again. Zephaniah 2:15, it says, that saith in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. So let's get that here in the scriptures. So this is Isaiah 47 and 1, and it reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin, daughter of Babylon. Speaking of America, the land of confusion. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Speaking of America. Now the people of the nations are seeing that America, Babylon the Great, is that great whore that it says in Revelation that has seduced the world, with her wine. That wine is the philosophies of America. So America is going to be destroyed. And you're hearing this. First and foremost, you're hearing it from the prophets day in and day out. So whether you believe or not, the scriptures say, what if some did not believe? The scriptures tell us, don't let the incredulity of those trouble thee. The incredulity is those that don't have the faith in the word of the Most High. Soon, the only thing that's going to be a profit is not going to be your FRNs, your Federal Reserve notes, your greenbacks, because the dollar's about to crash. Soon, the only thing that is going to be a profit is this word. And those who have the spirit on them and are going to be protected is going to be the elect. 2/3 of our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to be destroyed. Thus saith the scriptures. Going back to Isaiah 47, it says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Speaking of Babylon, it says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. So Babylon is being exposed. It's being exposed for all of its wickedness, for the unrighteous place that it truly is. So now, let's continue on with the fate of Babylon, the fate of America. Let me go to my next precept. Go to the book of Nahum. Go to the book of Nahum. The book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter. So this is the book of Nahum. It's lock here. Nahum 3 and 1. So it's the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 1. And it reads, woe to the bloody city. Now, didn't it just say that Babylon was called, the bloody city, the oppressive city? It was also called the place where the people dwell carelessly. Let's read it again. Nahum 3 and 1, and it reads, woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. That's you Israelites, you are the prey. Let me go back to Zephaniah 2 and 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that saith in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. And as Isaiah 47 and 1 said, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. You shall no more be called tender and delicate. How has she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passes by her shall hiss and wag his head. That's the fate of Babylon. The destruction is coming to this place. Nahum 3 and 1, and it reads, woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. It's a land of nothing but lies and robbery, because it's robbed you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans of your heritage, and of your possession of the world, of your rulership, and it's done nothing but destroy the nation and oppress them and this land, America, has done nothing but gotten generational wealth off of the backs of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, off the back of your hard labor. 400 years, 300 plus in chattel slavery, and 400 years of free labor. Verse 2. Well, let me jump down. Nahum 3 and 4. Because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, which is Babylon, which is America, the mistress of witchcraft, this is a land of nothing but witchcraft. Nothing but wickedness is in this land. Once again, it's a land where you can go get your sex change. A man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman. That's why it's called the mistress of witchcrafts. And it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 4th chapter, that the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest. And that bewitching of naughtiness, is how America has seduced the nations and seduced you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, first and foremost. America has seduced you, and now you believe in the ways of Babylon. And you don't believe in your power. You don't believe that he exists. You don't believe that he's a so-called black man that's in the heavens waiting to come back, for the remnant, for the elect. You don't believe that you are the people of the Most High. Verse 4. Because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot and the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredom and families through her witchcrafts. Because the scriptures tell you also in Micah that they covet fields and take them by violence. So that has been the MO, of these devils, the so-called white man, which is the children of Edom, which dwell here in Babylon and are at the power seat of the earth. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And who is the wicked? The wicked are the Edomites, And I'll get some of those precepts, Lord will, going into the Edomites, the destruction, woe unto Babylon, and the destruction coming to Babylon, but also to those that sit in the power seat, which are the Edomites, the so-called white people. Continuing on. And it reads, verse 5, Nahum 3 and 5, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. That's part of what I read in Isaiah 47. So the Most High is exposing Babylon, and he's showing the shame of this place, He said he's going to discover the skirts upon this place. Verse 6, And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vow, and will set thee as a gazing stock. So the Most High is coming to destroy Babylon the Great, America, his son Yahweh Shai. The scriptures say he's coming to strike through kings and fill the places with the dead bodies. And he's only coming to recover the remnant, the elect. So the elect are the only ones that's going to make it out of here. Because soon, all these stores around here are going to be shut down. Soon, the dollar's going to crash. Thus saith the Bible. Soon, chaos and anarchy and nothing but hell is going to be going on out here. The Bible says that the children are going to be getting dashed to pieces, and the women are going to be getting ravished. And that man is going to kill his own neighbor for want of bread and water. The bare necessities. That's the time of Jacob's trouble. So the lies that you heard is that everybody's going to get raptured up. That's not true. Only the elect, the remnant, which is 144,000 and 1/3 of the nation of Israel, is going to be saved in the time of Jacob's trouble. This time of great wrath that's coming to the earth very soon. So while you out voting, while you out, trusting in oppression, trusting in your job, trusting in yourself, thinking that America's going to turn back around, this is the beginning of the end. There won't be no saving grace. The scriptures say that Babylon can't be healed. If she could be healed, she would have been healed. But she is not. Forsake her. So, continuing on, let's jump into, get a quick precept, Isaiah 32 and 13. This is the book of Isaiah 32 in verse 13. And it reads, Isaiah 32 and 13, Upon the land of my people, which currently the children of Israel dwell predominantly here in Babylon, they're scattered amongst the heathen nations around the world. The Lord said that his people are in every nation, but currently the vast majority of you Jakes are right here in North, South, and Central America. You Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it says, Isaiah 32 and 13, upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, and that's here in Babylon. It says, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. So America is also known as Babylon the Great and the joyous city. Why? Because you can live free as you want. This is the land of do as thou wilt. You know, get it how you live. Do whatever comes to your heart and your mind. You know, the land of free thinking, not coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So that's this land. That's this Babylon the Great. So continuing on, with Babylon, America being destroyed, woe unto Babylon, the scriptures say. Woe unto Babylon. So let's jump into it. Let's get the book of Jeremiah. Go to the book of Jeremiah 51. Start Jeremiah 51. We're going to start at 1. Jeremiah 51 and 1, and it reads, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, America, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. So all the nations and people that's joined into this place, the scriptures say will be thrust through in Isaiah 13. So those that won't come back, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the remnant, the elect, all those who won't come back, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, is prophesied to be cut off and die. When you read Zechariah 13, you know, verses 8 through 9. So it says, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Jeremiah 51 and 1, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, those that are joined unto them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. And what is that destroying wind? The nuclear missiles. Let's show that by going to, let's go to the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. The Lord said he's going to rise up a destroying wind to Babylon. Let's see if I can get that real quick through the Spirit. So this is Revelation, the 7th chapter. Revelation 7 and 1. Let me read it again. Jeremiah 51 and 2, or 51 and 1, it says, And I will raise up against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind. So this is Revelation 7 and 1, and it reads, And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth. And that's that destruction that we're reading about here in Jeremiah 51. It says, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, or power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So we got the 4 angels holding back this destruction so that the elect can be sealed. Let's get that. Verse 3, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their forehead. So the elect are getting sealed day by day. That's the believers. Those that hear this word, and it moves them to fear of the Most High. Because the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So the Lord loved those that loveth him, and the Lord loved those that fear him, that come back to serving him, according to fear. Meaning reverencing him and giving him honor and respect, knowing that if you don't serve the Most High, he's going to put you to death. You know? And you're still going to come back in the kingdom if you were an Israelite, a Negro, Latino, Native American, and serve him anyway. So that is a destruction. So go back to Jeremiah 51, and now verse 2. And I will send unto Babylon, which is America, fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. These are the other nations that's going to be gathered round about. And shall empty her land for the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So the ultimate trouble, after the time of Jacob's trouble and the mark of the beast, is being implemented.